But what's intriguing is the fact that a lot of people tell me that, yeah, I know, I think I know what to do, but, I just can't do it because, I'm not able to adopt a habit. And then if I do adopt a habit, can I retain it? Can I sustain it? Is it durable? Okay. And how to do it? I mean, there are obviously tricks and tips for that. And that's what we are going to be talking about today. Workshop that he's going to talk about will be both on site and online. You'll get to know more. And he will also tell you why, how, and of course, take home lessons and so on. And he's going to pull the trigger today to make sure that, you join us and look at durable habit changes. If you are deciding to join this workshop and be part of this change management process, with your own body and mind, and extract as much value as possible from this webinar.
I follow one practice. Whatever I'm going to share with my family, with my friends, with my community, and my corporate work, I practice it on myself first. So I have to start with what I've learned in 6 years. If I could summarize that, it's one word, and it helps in everything, not only in habit changing, not only in well-being. And so that word is gratitude. We always talk about this word surrender. We go to temples and we bend down and we surrender. What do we surrender to? I think only when you see death on your face, then you understand the meaning of surrender. So that evening, we really, truly surrender to Mother Earth. And I think all day long, while Annie was kind of a little bit behind, but when this event happened, she took the lead. And she said, guys, we don't have to worry now. We're going to spend the night here. Suddenly, like Durga awoke in her, and then we kind of calmed down and we said, okay, we're going to surrender. Whatever happens, happens. If we survive, wonderful. But after that night, my life has shifted quite a bit. And I feel no pressure, no burden, stress-free. So that was a gift. And I think these are the two key words which I have learned in the last 6 years or so for our well-being. If we can learn to live in the gratitude, live in what's working in our life, live in and the other important word is surrender. And I think we'll go deeper into the word, but these are the two words which have been very, very important. And of course, the third word, which I've totally focused on for the last 6 years, is the word well-being. We are going
You're also the co-founder of Global Wellbeing Network, right?
Right. And I'm very, very grateful to our team. Dr. Doug Walton, whom I had the pleasure of working at Cisco. He was the director of change for Cisco IT, and he and I worked together when I moved to Bay Area. And then I'm very thankful to Mani, who is in Washington, D.C. He's our COO. Doug is our CTO. And then we have several wonderful people like Mia and in Finland and Amy, a network of people. And they all have put together what I'm going to share with you. So it is a collective learning. What we have learned in the last 6 years, that's what we are going to share with you today. So you all know that New Year's resolution, there was an interesting survey I saw by Gallup and several surveys, and they all talk about maybe between 10 to 11% success rate. So people form these great resolutions, and that's why the fitness centers lower their rate and they offer wonderful deals because they know that only about 1 in 10% will come back here in the month of February. Most of the people will get excited, start in January, and not come back. And I also noticed that Alcoholics Anonymous has probably one of the most successful rates of 33, 34%. And so we got deeper into it, why they are successful and what is their secret. And so we started looking at all the organizations which are successful, Toastmasters, and so on. And so what we have realized in the last 6 years, that your success rate could be from 0 to 100%. Our experience now, and we have been doing it for the last 2 years very actively. Lots of places we are in organizations, in communities, and one-on-one I've been working. And what I'm finding is that if people are committed, if they are deeply committed, and I ask them, how committed are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And if they say, I'm committed 11 out of 10, I know that the success rate would be 100%, because this is not about willpower. This is the beauty of it. What we are going to discuss is, a lot of people think, well, it's about willpower, it's about discipline. No, it is not. What we have learned, that it's more about simply learning about few things. And that's what I'm going to share with you. So if we, our on the average success rate we are finding is about 80%. But let me tell you the caveat. The caveat is that people who show up, we are finding that when we offered it for free, a lot of people signed up 30, 40, but then we found that they are not serious. And so we realized that it should not be offered free. Even whatever is the charge, but if you offer free, people don't take it seriously and don't make a commitment. So when we started charging money for it, then we found that our people who are staying with it after 2 weeks, success rate is almost 80% and more than that. So also we realized that some people believe that it takes about 3 weeks to form a habit. Some people, there are different numbers which you pick up. Our experience shows that if we can get people for 3 months, which is roughly about 12 weeks, then they get really used to it. And then there is a very, very high chance that will stick with them. So we started doing that. Then also we took the design learning approach, which is really helping them with goal setting and clarity. And we'll discuss these things more in detail. But setting what we call them as SMART goals, very specific, very measurable, very achievable, or say realistic, and very time bound. We cannot talk in general. Every week we watch and process, monitor the progress, and we have a support group meeting. So, and then there are strategies which we found are very useful. And of course, accountability and support. This, if I have to pick out of all the items here, this is one item we found is the most crucial. And that's why we create a safe environment where people take accountability and they commit to supporting each other. Even in the corporate environment, where people are generally very competitive, but when it comes to well-being of each other, surprisingly, we found that people are very supportive. These days, you're hearing about younger people having a heart attack and dropping dead at the age of 35, 40, 45, and people coming out. And if you trace it back, and all our medical friends, our doctor friends pointed out, I think one thing almost everyone agrees, the medical profession, the alternate therapies, and that stress is the key factor. So if we can figure out a way where we can take the excessive stress and convert it into optimal stress, then our lives could be much more happier and healthier. And then, of course, we provide positive reinforcement. We celebrate small successes. Every week, we focus on what is working, and we celebrate that with our whole group who is participating in this, the whole support group. And then, of course, education and awareness. People have to be aware that it's not the physical fitness alone. This is the most important shift. You hear people who are in very good shape, they're hiking, they're running, and suddenly they drop. Why? Because they may be extremely stressed out. So I think we have to work on the emotional side as much as we are working on fitness side. Fitness side is more visible. The emotional side is not visible. A lot of things are there in our subconscious. If we can make our subconscious conscious, then our awareness goes
So
up.
are we talking, Dinesh, about emotional fitness? Would you like to talk a little bit about that? Emotional fitness?
Absolutely. People are calling it emotional fitness. Our Surgeon General and our dear friend Vivek Murthy has written a lovely book together in which he's talking about this pandemic today in America and around the globe, actually, of the mental and emotional loneliness. And they cause to our well-being. And this is what people have to realize, that hiking alone is not going to cut it. Walking and exercising alone is not going to cut it. You have to pay attention to your overall well-being and adaptability and flexibility. So we don't use a rigid format. our format is very flexible and customized. So each person, then they come out and we share with each other, and we don't stop. Once the 12 weeks are over, we have now the global well-being communities. In fact, there are communities almost in every city I'm working on. So there is a community in Delhi, there is a community in San Jose, there is a community in Maryland, and wherever we are offering these programs, we are creating the communities where they support each other. And we align with other groups as well. Like we work very closely with Lalit Kapoor and the LMK Foundation, because we found that there are a lot of similarities in their approach, our approach. They're using WhatsApp groups. We are using WhatsApp group as a media. So this is our intent, to make this world happier and healthier. So you might wonder that what is so unique about this approach? I mean, there are millions, people using apps. There is a Calm app, and there is all kinds of apps are there. Surprisingly, you will find I learned that from Dr. Dodi. A lot of people may be subscribing to these apps, 20 million subscribers. But if you go and check how many people have been impacted by those apps, then you'll be surprised. Because apps don't change us. What changes, what we have found, what changes is our commitment. And if there is a loving touch in our life, if there is someone out there who we feel loves us, then I think we change. I'll give you a simple example at the individual level. You want to go for a walk every morning and you procrastinate. You wait for another day and another day, and you're running, there's no time. We are busy. Life in Bay Area is amazingly busy, and the exponential technology is making it busier. So every morning we have the good intention, but we're not able to go for that walk. Now, if your buddy is there, he knocks on your door, and you both of you get along well, you're great pals. Now, would you go for a walk? I would say almost 9 out of 10 people, unless you are sick or something, you will go for a walk because you care for each other, and you care that the buddy came to your home, wherever he came from, drove or probably walked. And that bond is the magical power that we have discovered. And imagine if you have that bond with 7 or 8, 10 other people who are working with you. Every time we come together, when we are ready to dissolve these groups and we ask them to join our global support group, people do not want to leave because they develop a bond. And interpersonal level, that's what happens. There's very strong bonding that takes place. At the organizational level, of course, the context is different. One good thing we found at organizational level is that when organizations are paying for it, they also expect their employees to participate on the weekly review meetings. So that becomes a very high show. People show up in those meetings. You can't, especially if your CEO is showing up, if your VP is showing up, if your director is showing up, the team members show up. So that becomes a great help. At the community level, we have found that if we have members who are highly committed, then the success rate is very high. And if they're already part of a community, like we are working with the yoga community, Shri community in Maryland. So about maybe 100 people are already part of that. So it's easier for them to come together and change. And then, of course, I mentioned that the global level, we have an ongoing group where we keep learning from each other at the global level. Now, you may wonder, is this program right for me? Because you may say, well, if you're already able to change your habits and adopt the well-being habits, and my experience tells me almost everyone I meet, they already know what they want to adopt. I have some doctor friends, and they're diabetic, and they tell me, Dinesh, I want to adopt the habit and quit my wine or my excessive drinking, but they're not able to do it. So I think what we are saying, that if you are one of those person that who know what you want to change, but you are not able to change, then this program is for you. And if your desire for results is very high, so we find people who have some issue, then of course their desire for results is extremely high. Or if they are getting ready to go for Everest Base Camp, or if they have certain important trip coming up and then they want to be in good shape, or if they are dealing with excessive stress and they need some support, they need people who can help them and who have gone through a similar journey, they also need expertise and guidance. Because, it's very easy for us to assume that we know everything. All I can say is that we know nothing. And in 6 years after discovering what I have discovered and our team has discovered, we just realized that we still know nothing. And every day is new learning. And the more you can keep an open mind, and I also emphasize an open heart, because sometimes our mind is open, but our ego comes in, and we don't want to open our heart. If we can surrender our ego and open our heart, then I think we become open to guidance from anyone who can help us. And of course, efficiency and time savings. Just imagine if your day is filled with gratitude and you're not wasting your all day ruminating over the same worryful thoughts and the fearful thoughts. Am I getting cancer? Am I going to have a heart attack? Or am I going to blah, blah, blah? All kinds of issues which take our time and those kind of worrisome thoughts. And how do we keep motivated and inspired? That's another challenge, because one morning we may be very highly motivated. We hike for 10 miles, and Sunit goes all the way on a bike to our Mount Center here, where we have the biggest telescope in San Francisco area. And it's a very personalized approach I share. And I think you need to think of this investment for self-improvement. So is it a quick cookie cut program? I think by now you already got the idea that it is not. It is very customized. It's based on synergy, because we are building on the synergy of the support team, of the like-minded people. There's a motivation feedback loop. Every week, you get the feedback and what is working for you, what is not working. You get a lot of ideas. People would suggest, it's amazing that how many lovely ideas we hear from people, that how to go about solving if you're not able to, for example, some people they wanted to get up at 5 and they're not able to get up. And one person suggested that, why don't you, when you get up, you text me. And if you don't text me, I'll call you. And they made a buddy system. So those kind of ideas, and it's working. Of course, emotional support, people call each other up. And the best part is that you develop a shared identity. You all belong to a group or a community where you all begin to believe that, yes, you can change. And the serendipitous discoveries, you realize that not only you have something relating to well-being in common, you discover other connections. Some people get a new job because of the connections they made, because you are hanging out with the like-minded people. And it's a continuous learning. So these are some of the benefits of joining a group like that rather than working alone with an app. So what is being offered? Well, we have these 12 sessions, which we have after these 6 years of experience. We have figured that these are the important things. If people can focus on these things. So on week 1, obviously, people want to talk about gratitude. I mentioned to you that it's one of the most important word I have learned for the well-being. So how do we really shift into a gratitude mindset? I call it a shift from poor me to lucky me. You take any situation and you can always say, poor me. I lost my job, poor me. Now, you can also turn it around and you can say, lucky me. Well, how can losing my job can be a lucky thing for me? Number one, it may have been a life's best gift to you because your stress level was so high that you would have been probably in the hospital if you would not have stopped. So sometimes losing a job can be a good thing. And then after that rest, which you needed, you may even get a better job. So if you begin to create a mindset where you are grateful, and I love what some of you might have heard, this saying that what is happening when my way is happening, I'm very grateful. And when it's not happening my way, I'm even more grateful because there is a bigger mind which is doing what is best for me and all people around me. So if you can uh, focus on gratitude and cultivate some habits around that. So, what are the habits you can cultivate? Well, the first habit I would say is when you get up in the morning, aha, I'm alive today. Remind yourself that about 300,000 people would not wake up this morning. So, what better gift you can get that you're alive? Then you can walk, you can talk, you can sing, you can jump, you can dance, you can pick up the phone and call up one of the friends and appreciate them, that how thankful you are for whatever gift they have offered. Believe me, they'll be pleasantly surprised even if you wake them up. Then you can hug a family member and you can be grateful that you have a family and you have a family member and they're alive. So not only you are alive, your family member is alive and both of you are healthy. You see where I'm going with this. So if you start your day with that kind of mindset, that kind of feeling, your whole body, your whole heart will be filled with just lovely energy. And then I think you need to sit down and you need to ask the question, this whole week, the first week, we focus on why you want to adopt this habit and what are the benefits of this habit, how this habit is going to make an impact on your life. And I'm surprised that people have written down, especially my Gia and Sophia, they wrote down 100 things. Of course, there was a caveat. I offered them $1 per idea they come out with. And within few hours, they came out with more than 100 ideas. So be childlike, be playful, and take paper and pen and start writing your gratitude journal for the first week every day. And don't repeat. Figure out, all your body is working, all your billions of cells in your body are operating well, all your systems are working, and so on. And then you focus on this habit you're trying to adopt. Why are you trying to adopt it? And what kind of impact this habit will have on your life? As just visualize whatever you're trying to do, if you're able to achieve it in 3 months, how that's going to impact your life. So that's week one. Then week two, we go into intention. We go deeper into intention to change, and we help you convert into a solid plan, not just an intention. Because they say that way to hell is paved with good intention. So intentions without a solid action plan and thought out plan is meaningless. It doesn't take you much. And then, of course, ways to track success, the week three. And in this week, we will, number one, we'll tell you what kind of matrix you can use. We suggest a daily matrix and where should you position it. For example, keeping it right in your bathroom mirror, where every morning you look at it makes a difference because now you're looking at it and it's reminding you early in the morning that how many checks you have for that day. Tips and tricks. Very simple things. Week four. This week, we practice what kind of tips and tricks which are proven. Some of you may have read the Atomic Habits. There are so many books which we have read during this time and learned from them. So one of a nice trick we have found is that surround yourself with items that for example, if you want to improve your diet, make sure that all your areas which are visible there are those things which you want to eat. They are visible and there are plenty of them over there. And things, the junk food and the processed food that you don't want to eat, ideal would be don't bring them. Don't keep it in your home. But if your spouse or if your partner wants it and you must bring it, you don't want to break your marriage, then you may want to keep them away. So it's available to your partner, to your spouse, to your family member, but you are staying away from it. So these are many such tricks. There is a stacking trick which some of you know. For example, I'm trying to learn balancing of 3 tennis balls because I believe that as we learn to develop practicing with the tennis balls, we also learn practicing in our life. How do we balance our work life, our family life, and our social circles? So if what I do, the moment I turn my electric kettle on, in the morning, there are about 2, 3 minutes before it's ready. I use those 3 minutes now to practice my tennis ball balancing routine, and I'm getting better at it. Better at it. I can balance now 2 balls, not 3 yet. So, but this is how you do the stacking. When you're doing one habit, you also do the second. For example, at night, if you want, as you're brushing your teeth, if there is something else you want to associate with that, like saying your prayer or sitting down for meditation, then align it with that. So right after brushing your teeth, you sit down for 5 minutes and you pray. Now, week number 5, now we take you deeper into the emotional side and we help you trying to see your patterns. Are there things you keep repeating? I had a friend, a very dear friend in Florida, and when he was getting married the third time, he says, "Yeah, Dinesh, why my pal? How come I keep attracting the same kind of women?" And I said, "Joe, have you ever thought about what you are doing, which is contributing to this?" And this is a very powerful question. I think if you go deeper into any situation where you're in, if you focus on one question, how am I contributing to where I find myself, rather than blaming the other person or focusing on the other person? If you bring the focus on yourself, that how am I contributing to where I am? You know why? Because there is something you can do about it. You can change if you're not happy with the situation. Blaming the other person is not going to get you anywhere. So if you realize that what's holding you back is that you're blaming other people, for example, then it's time to search back and explore this question, which I just shared with you, thanks to my friend Peter Block, who asked me this question many years ago. That was like a transformational. My life changed after that question. So week number 6, we use the group effectively. So I think we make sure that in the group, everyone gets support from their peers, and especially in the corporate situations, from the co-workers. And we also make sure that one person is not talking most of the time. Everyone gets a chance to speak. Simple facilitation kind of ideas. And then on week number 7, we do halfway celebration. Because by this time, people are beginning to see a lot of successes. People are beginning to gain confidence. So we say, let's reward ourselves. And we do a mini celebration. And also we again reinforce this point that there is no failure. There are only setbacks. And then I think we can, every time there is a setback, we build on that and we get ready for the next success. And then in the week number 8, we develop the right triggers. And we call them, thanks to Mani, he pointed out glimmer. I love that word, glimmering. So like we all know the wrong triggers. Somebody says, you are an idiot, and we get triggered. Or somebody says, you don't know anything, and we get triggered. So realize what is your trigger? What triggers you? It doesn't have to be as bad as somebody name calling or remembering your dead parents and calling them names, but simply calling that you don't know can also trigger. So if we are aware that what is our trigger and what is our glimmer, glimmer is just the opposite of trigger. For example, right now, if I ask you, close your eyes and think of an experience in the last month or two, which really brings joy to your hearts, and you begin to smile. It could have been somebody paid you a compliment, or it could have been that you were successful at job, or it's something you hugged your spouse or your partner in the morning, or it's your child who came out and said something silly to you, and your heart is filled with that beautiful moment. So if you can associate, call it a glimmering moment, or you are walking on the beach, any positive experience you have had, if you can connect those with the glimmering triggers. So now, anytime you are down or you're upset, just recall your glimmering triggers. And those of you who are familiar with neuro-linguistic programmings, you can also bring both your palms together and connect this glimmer. And then every time you are at a place where you want to recall this glimmering moment, just bring your palms together and you have the glimmering moment. And similarly, I think those of you interested in remembering your dreams, you probably know this self-hypnosis technique is taking a sip of water at night, and in the morning taking a sip and reminding yourself that you want to remember your dream when you take a sip. In the morning when you wake up, another sip of water and the dream comes to you. And make a habit of writing down your dreams, and they will give you a lot of insights. Then, of course, on week number 10, we help you simplifying your decision-making process, and we also give you the 2-minute rule. If after everything you're not able to do something, then we suggest to you how you can handle that. Finally, I mentioned to you stacking habits. I gave you some examples, and we do what we do is we ask people to give their stacking habits and what they have learned. And what amazes us that in every single program, people come out with so many different ideas that our learning continues. And that's what we love about this program, that it's a learning, sustaining and adding on. And finally, on week 12, we share stories with each other and we celebrate success. So this is the crux of how the 12 weeks would look like. Every week, you'll be committing for an hour. And then if for any week you're not able to participate, then we create the recording. So you'll have the week to come back and listen to the recording. We have maintained a WhatsApp group, so you can put your comments there. So these are some of the details which I have shared with you. We have a structured curriculum. You can go to our website, globalwellbeing.us, and you can see the 12-week curriculum there. And of course, you'll have the expert guidance. There will be facilitators like myself or Dr. Doug Walton, who is a thought leader who was at Cisco, whom I work with. He's a thought leader, wrote the book on change management, organizational change, personal change. He would be available. His expertise would be available. Mani Kantan, who is in Washington, D.C., his expertise. And we have a network of about 20 people. And they all, each one expert in an area. We have people who can do dance therapy. We have people who do musical therapy. So we have, and most of them are coming from the Bay Area, technical area, or highly successful entrepreneurs like Ashwini Khurana, my brother in Karma Lakelands, Delhi, and so on. So support would be very personalized. In addition to this 1 hour, if any of you have a need, you want to talk one-on-one, we'll be available because we are coming from a place of passion and we want to make you successful. Money, of course, we told you we are charging money because without that, we found that people don't commit. Community and peer support is the key, and measurable result is what will get you more motivated and give you the confidence, and it'll become a transformative change in your life. It's not one habit you're changing, but it changes you forever. The last slide talks about we have this program for 12 weeks where we offer $2,400, $200 for each week. The last slide, please. But for our individual people, if your corporation is not paying for you, if the corporation is paying for you, it's $200 per session, per week. If the organization is not paying, you're paying from your pocket, then we give you $100 per week. And we are also giving you a money-back guarantee. If at the end of 12 weeks, you have invested $1,200, you have changed, adopted a new habit, it's a life transforming, and now you're in great shape, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, in all ways. But if you're not satisfied, we'll give you your money back because we are happy that you have adopted the habit. And if you feel that you didn't get your money's worth, then we'll return it to you. And our format I've shared with you. The program will begin on April 25th, not April 18th. We want you to sign up by April 18th, but we'll begin the program April 25th. Our logistics will be a Zoom call every week. And we are giving you the details here for the program. If you want to check it out, enroll today if you want to get that rate. And it's globalwellbeing.us. That is our website. Thank you so much for listening.
Very nicely, either I'm a lucky person or I'm a poor person, right? Poor me or lucky me, right?
Right.
And that gives you the sense of gratitude that I'm still alive, I'm still doing, I'm still well. there may be problems, but it depends on how you look at it. So lucky me or poor me. So if you're poor me, then your incentive, any kind of incentive to change habit is, of course, poor me. It will not happen, right?
Right.
Lucky me. Well, this is an opportunity. I'm lucky. I'm now getting to it, and there's somebody who's ready to walk me through, the 12 workshops.
To emphasize that the session on April 21 would be a 10 to 4 p.m. So 10 to 12 would be the first 2 hours on the Zoom call, and
Mhm.
all can participate in that. And then but those people who are coming in person, it'll be at the villages and in the Vineyard Conference Center. And it's a kind of we make it a community event. It's a potluck event. So 10 to 12 will have more kind of a dialogue. And then 12 to 2, we cook together. There is a demo. We also demo sometimes, how to make healthy food. And 2 to 4 is the celebration, because the change has to do with celebration, very important part. So we'll have the Sufi kind of dancing, and we'll have the music. So 2 to 4 would be the celebration. So all of you are welcome to join us from 10 to 4. And if you can only join for any one of those three, then you're welcome to join each one of them. So those three areas are standalone: 10 to 12, 12 to 2, and 2 to 4. And you can also come for all three. And that's where I think we'll deepen some of the ideas which we talked today.
I really enjoy and truly believe in, bringing science and spirituality together. From my little understanding, that's how it used to be a very long time ago. And then we, separated it. But when we bring these two components together, life can be so much more deeper, meaningful. And all these attributes, that you have talked about, they are very valuable. And I personally have benefited and healed from my own chronic sicknesses that, Western medicine did not have a solution for. So I completely vouch for this approach from my own personal experience. And I'm so happy that you have made this program available, because there is so much suffering out there. And when I was going through my own journey, nobody told me that I did not need to suffer. There is a way out. It took me a very long time. I hope, this brings hope to the hopeless, because I was hopeless once upon a time, until I figured out my own way. But by bringing these programs, we can help facilitate, and people can live a more fulfilling, meaningful life. So that is my experience. And when I joined Dineshi and his group, I found talking to people who were like-minded, who were very motivated, and had ton of experience. And it was a very enriching experience for me. So once again, thank you so much, Dineshi and Som, for helping us all. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Iru. I still remember the lovely contribution you made. And you are so right, because I'll share a personal story. About 2 years ago, I discovered that my sister, who lives in Pittsburgh, DC, by herself, and she was like 82 years old at that time. And then she had COPD, and she discovered that she had ovarian cancer. So as a result, she had to be moved to with her children, her son and daughter, my nephew, nieces. They live in Washington, D.C. And now she has a real dilemma, because on one hand, she loved her children and grandchildren. On the other hand, all her support system, all her network, she has lived in Pittsburgh for 55 years, and they were all in Pittsburgh. So it was very difficult for her to decide in that conflict. But she definitely wanted to be close to her friends. So when I met her, we made a deal in my family that if somebody can live with her in Pittsburgh, then her children, my nephew, niece, were willing to let her live in Pittsburgh. So that was our family got together and we all decided to support her. So I took the first April, last April. So first 3 weeks of April I spent with her. And we talked to her that, are you willing to explore some alternate ideas? And she was very willing. And we tried, then we took turn, me, my family, and we supported her all through summer. And there is a lovely story, Ruji, you would appreciate that. She not only kind of reversed her diabetes, came down, her A1C came down, she stopped taking medication, her blood pressure came down. The best part was when her COPD has turned into PF, the pulmonary fibrosis, and she was on oxygen. But when she started doing this routine, she got off the oxygen. And that was a very powerful day for all of us, where she was off the oxygen and we celebrated her 83rd birthday. And I'm looking forward to celebrating her 84th birthday this coming July. So you are absolutely right, Eru. Not many people understand what a person is going through, only close friends and family. And sometimes they don't know what to do. But if we can, as a community, if we can support each other, I think we can make a huge difference and minimize suffering. Not only those who have been diagnosed with a major disease, but those who are suffering without a major disease, just going through depression and mental isolation and emotional issues. I think as a community, a caring community, we can show our compassion and our support and make a difference.
Thank you for allowing me to chime in here. Appreciate it. I just wanted to share my experience with Dinesh as well as co-facilitator of this program.
Sure.
What I found is there are a couple of places where people started habit with saying that, oh, I want to change my entire food habit and I want to eat healthy and whatever. That's kind of how we started. And then slowly they narrowed it down or fine-tuned it to say that I don't want to eat fried food. Or I want to make sure that I walk 10,000 feet. So the way in which they transition their own habit in a way during this last 12 weeks in various parts of it, it's so enriching to watch. And this is not just in Maryland or Kanpur or various places where we have conducted this program, also in business setting. And this is so encouraging for us as facilitators, to watch that change within themselves as we travel this 12 weeks as a journey. To me, the example comes for me is like going on a train journey. We all suddenly become friends and then we get off at different, our own stations. But in the process, we benefit from each other's wisdom. That's kind of how it looks like for me. Thank you for allowing me to share that. Appreciate it.
So the story which touches me is my friend Anil Sharma. And Anil Sharma is responsible for maintaining the golf courses at Karma Lakelands near Gurgaon. And this Karma Lakelands is like an oasis, because in Gurgaon, it's a jungle of concrete. And then in the middle of that jungle of concrete, my friend and younger brother, Ashwini Khurana, and his partner, Dicky, they have created this in 270 acres, like different kind of forest, and there's a golf course. So obviously, that is my choiced spot, and I became friends with Anil Sharma, who is the keeper of, he maintains the golf and everything. So he'll always invite me and we'll go for an early morning golf. So as we started talking, he started sharing that he wants to lose a lot of weight. And he has tried many times and he's not able to do it. So in while we played golf, we had a wonderful opportunity for him to share his whole life story. And I kept asking him, why does he want to do that? Why does he want to lose weight? And he said, well, it turns out that he had a great desire to travel around the world. And he felt unless he is fit, he'll not be able to travel. So once we got that hook, and there were several personal things which came up, which I would not discuss here on the public forum without Anil being here. But we both agreed that he will follow the 12-week program. And he also agreed that we can write this program and talk about it publicly. So I have been publishing on LinkedIn. Those of you who are on LinkedIn, you can come join me on LinkedIn, and you'll find a story of Anil Sharma. And every 4 weeks, I'm trying to put an update of how he is doing. So in the first 4 weeks, he has done fantastic. And he had surprised his own self by beating that target. And now he's getting ready for the next. He needs some support. So we have been asking everyone to send him, good wishes, good energy, and suggestions of how he can go to the phase 2. But Anil's story is very unique and very powerful because his targets were very ambitious. And he also discovered what was lying in his subconscious. And once he saw his patterns and he was able to bring it into conscious, he's finding it easy. The best part is that he says, piece of cake. So far he has done well. And if you are interested, then we'll keep you posted on LinkedIn. So that's a story of my dear friend Anil Sharma. Talking about thanking people, I do want to acknowledge two people, our CMO, Shankar Hamade, who is helping us this whole program, and Dr. Bal Gupta, who has been a long-time friend and our advisor. Thank you, Som, and the entire team here for this wonderful
Thank you for being here.
opportunity.